The Georgia Bulldogs had their best game of the season last week in Jacksonville. They needed that, but they'll need to follow that up with their best performance on the season this weekend when they host the Missouri Tigers. No, the Tigers aren't as good as Florida, but it doesn't matter. The Bulldogs now have to consider themselves in playoff mode. The loss to South Carolina a few weeks ago narrowed their margin of error. They really don't need to lose again. Sure, they might lose to Missouri, Auburn, or Texas A&M and still make it to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, and then they may upset Alabama or LSU, but will the playoff committee put a two-loss SEC champion in the Final Four? Georgia can't gamble on that, so they can't afford another loss. They should beat Missouri this week, and probably easily, but they can't look past the Tigers and think about the Tigers they'll play next week in Auburn, Alabama. It was good, however, to see the offense open up and not be so conservative last weekend. We all knew that Jake Fromm could throw the ball downfield, and he did that Saturday in Jacksonville. He was tremendous, particularly on third down, and there is no doubt Georgia's hopes ride on Fromm's shoulders. That's a lot of pressure, but he's a quarterback for the sixth-rated team in the country, so he's used to it by now. However, it's the Georgia defense that might propel the Bulldogs into elite status. They shut down the Florida running game last weekend and held the Gators to only 21 rushing yards. That doesn't mean they'll do it against Alabama or LSU in the SEC championship game if they get there, but the performance does give everyone more hope this Georgia team can compete with anyone. If defense wins championships, this team will have a chance. We knew that the Bulldogs had to be ready for these tough 5 games in November, and they got off to a great start last weekend in Jacksonville. If they show out and win easily this weekend against Missouri, that will set up yet another huge game on the Plains in Auburn next Saturday. And maybe, just maybe, the Bulldogs are getting better as they go along this season. While, of course, that's exactly what happened 2 years ago when they were within an eyelash to the national championship. The win over Florida might have proven this Georgia team is very good, but the next few weeks, really every week moving forward, will prove whether or not Georgia can be great. And that's the promise that they have to keep for this fan base. Can Georgia not only be great, but an elite team going down the stretch? If they can and play like they did last Saturday in Jacksonville, they're going to have a chance to do something special down the stretch.